How did Christians arrive at December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth? Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. If you look online, you'll see a lot of different theories about this, and probably the loudest is that this was just stolen from the birth date of some other deity like Mithras or Tammuz or Osiris or something like that, and that's entirely made up. There are absolutely no data from the ancient world that identify December 25th as the birth date of any pre-existing deity. Now, others will say it was stolen from the celebration of Saturnalia. The biggest problem with that is that Saturnalia was not celebrated on December 25th. It was a harvest festival that began on December 17th and could run from 1 to up to 7 days, depending on who was in charge of the festival calendar. Others will say it was stolen from the celebration of Sol Invictus, which did take place on December 25th, but only starting in the year 276 CE, when an emperor dedicated a temple to Sol Invictus on December 25th. We already have indications that Christians had identified December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth decades prior to that. And this comes toward the end of a long period of calculations within Christianity of different dates for different significant events, such as the creation of the universe and Jesus' conception and Jesus' death. By the end of the 2nd century CE, Christians had identified March 25th as the date of Jesus' crucifixion, and had also determined that that was the date of his conception. And so in many places the Annunciation is celebrated on March 25th. And this most likely has to do with a convention that was in circulation around that time among historians, who usually identified the dates of important historical figures' deaths with the dates of their births. But for Jesus, it was identified with the date of his conception. And then at the beginning of the 3rd century CE, we have a writer named Hippolytus who suggests that if we take a traditional gestational period and go exactly 9 months after March 25th, you get to December 25th, and he is the first to suggest that that is the date of Jesus' birth. Now, this is the date of the observance of the winter solstice within the Roman Empire, and that certainly was not lost on early Christians, who considered that to be kind of cosmic poetic justice. But we don't really have any indication that that governed that calculation of that date. It certainly helped Christmas to persevere as a popular holiday, and Christmas is celebrated in a lot of different ways around the world, and some of those ways go back very, very far, and some of them are fairly new. And a lot of the features of the celebration of Christmas are borrowed from surrounding cultures, including pagan cultures, and it is not unlikely that things like revelry and gift-giving are borrowed from the celebration of Saturnalia. There are other aspects of the celebration of Christmas that seem to be uniquely Christian. So while the wreath being brought indoors and all of the features associated with Yule are borrowed from pre-Christian European tradition, the Christmas tree is a practice that is not identifiable in any pre-Christian tradition and seems to pop up independently within the northern Rhine region around the end of the 15th, beginning of the 16th century CE. So while the wreath and other things seem to be borrowed from pagan traditions, things like the Christmas tree itself are uniquely Christian. So when it comes to December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth, that seems to be something that Christians calculated on their own. When it comes to the celebration of Christmas, that's a mixed bag, where we have a combination of borrowings and probably even appropriations from broader cultures, as well as things that developed internal to Christianity.